I tell you what, we are absolutely excited to have this first guest here on here today on MOKSsports.com. This or MOKS Sports this week. Hello, my name is Jay Nauer. It's a pleasure to have you here with us, and we have a good one here today. We got Braydn Kemper. He's the head basketball coach of the boys basketball team over at North Platte, and he's got such a resume already that I have to read it. But certainly, let's just kind of go back to what Braydon's done this year. Besides being the head basketball coach, named there back in 2021, he's transformed the North Platte program from, I think he said, 7 consecutive losing seasons. I didn't know that one. I don't know about that one. I might have to double check that one, but I know it was a challenge here for that program for several years. Of course, this year having a big year. We'll talk about that record here in a moment. And since he's taken the helm there, Braydon has improved the team in back-to-back winning seasons and multiple 21 seasons as well, and capped off this year, which is something we're going to highlight, is the 2025-26 basketball season for North Platte, which was absolutely huge, having that 27-5 record. He's certainly known for the offense that he uses as well as defensive style, and certainly a background that I'm aware of is where he played his college basketball at the University of St. Mary. I got to know him and Bryce a little bit there too, so I was excited to see him go there as a broadcaster for University of St. Mary as well. And we'll talk about this state run, Braydon, and hey, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thanks, Jay, and thanks for doing this. It's gonna be awesome, and I appreciate you giving me a chance to highlight our team and our boys.
You bet. Just kind of looking at, I know that, you came into the season, I'm pretty sure optimistic, like most coaches are, right? And I know you have goals that you like to have. Would you have, I know probably being on the state run for you was probably a goal that you may have had, but did you have any inclination it would take you this far?
Jay, we always have a goal, winning a state title. That's what we practice for. We want to get down there and compete. And I think when we set our goals, we talked about, well, in order to do that, we got to win a district championship. And we knew our district is going to be loaded. It's going to be tough. When we saw the districts come out, we kind of knew what it was going to be. I mean, a lot of KCI teams, Mid Buck, West Platte, both in there, really tough teams. East Buck, even LeBlanc's really, really solid. We knew it was going to be tough, and we just said we got to get better every day and get ready for that moment whenever it comes, and we have to go get a chance to win a district title. And then everything after that, and whatever we can do, whoever we play, we got to go compete, and you can't really look ahead that far, but the goal is to win a state title, and I thought we did a really good job. I know we fell short of that goal, but I thought we had a really great season. We got down to the Final Four, first in school history, and then one of the highest finishes in school history as far as basketball goes in general. So I'm extremely happy, extremely proud of this boys.
I'll go back to growing up, and I've been in this business now, I guess, 22 years now, as far as broadcasting. And I remember you coming up in your high school career at Mid Buchanan, and success you had there, certainly under a coach that let's put it this way, I know Braydon knows him.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and going on to have success there. I believe as a player going into a state run yourself, and going on, of course, going to I think a demanding program over at University of St. Mary, and playing over there. Coach Brown, of course, is a friend of mine. I broadcast for the University of St. Mary, folks, so I'm sure you can probably figure that out already. But and I know that he has a relationship with you as well. And I tell you, just when we found out you were going to be the head coach at North Platte, I'm like, okay, this is going to be real. We're going to be playing against this kid who I know is a competitor, and I know his dad's a competitor.
Yep.
And I'm like, if he's anything like his dad Bryce is, it's going to be a challenge. And certainly from the West Platte point of view, which I know of, it's one of these things. We play each other. West Platte plays North Platte at least 4 or 5 times every year,
I think.
and.
Yeah.
It's always a barn burner, or most of the time it is. And then I think maybe a turning point for you, Braydon, just to relax and talk about it, was And of course, I witnessed this personally is going to West Platte and going into the overtime and winning that game in overtime and playing without your leading scorer through that at least to the overtime to take the victory. I think that may have been some kind of a turnaround for you.
No, I agree, Jay. I mean, it's funny you mentioned that. I feel like the last couple of years I was joking with Coach Funk, and I mean, he got that job at Smithville, and that's an awesome gig for him, and congrats to him. But I remember joking with him last year, and I was like, man, we play each other so many times. We have each other's plays down. We know what to expect. But that this year, I do agree that overtime win over at Weston was that was a huge turning point for us. We had to sit Brendan for about half the game, and at the time, it was like it was the right decision as far as to learn from it, move forward. I didn't know what the rest of the game would have in store, but the team rallied behind him and said, "Hey, coach isn't going to play him. He got a technical in that game," and I said, "You're not going to play." And or he came back and became a leader on the bench for us, and his teammates answered and played really well. I mean, that was a tough game at West Platte, and we rallied back down 12, I think, forced overtime, and then made some big plays in the fourth or overtime to win that game. So it was a huge game for us. Kind of showed everybody, hey, we got to do this together. We can't. It's not one person that wins us these games. It takes a collection. Brendan's obviously a phenomenal player, and we would have been 99% of the time, 99.9% of the time, we were better with him on the floor. I just think it showed those other guys though that it takes a team to win.
Yeah, that and we'll talk about several other key wins that you've had. Uh, I believe coming in second in conference, I believe this year. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
And doing very well. Very tough conference. And of course, in your own tournament, the North Platte Invitational tournament, which we're always glad to do as well. Um, you certainly had a interesting final game there, going against Mid Buchanan and actually beating them with the coach, like I said, that you know, which would be his dad, and Braydn Kemper, and what a competitor he is. And by the way, I hope to get him on this program too later, with the accomplishment he had with 500 wins. But that may have been a turning point for you as well to take on the number. I don't know. They were probably in the top five at the time at your tournament there,
Yeah.
your invitational tournament. But that may have been a turnaround, another turning point in your season as well.
Yeah, so they were ranked number 2 in the state at the time. Obviously, Principia was number 1. I think that was a pretty clear ranking there. But we lost to them the week before. Probably, I mean, I had high value for who was going to win the regular season conference. And so we lost that. The boys were kind of bummed, and we knew it wasn't our best game. And I said, hey, we don't want to be playing our best basketball now. Let's just keep getting better. We're going to see them hopefully in a week if we can make it that far in our tournament. And then let's see how much we've improved from that point. And I thought the first time we played them, it kind of felt we were kind of tense and kind of both teams I thought were really tense. But it was not nearly both teams A game. It was probably both teams C plus B minus game. They were just better that night than us. And the next time in our tournament, I thought it was B plus A material, somewhere in that range from both teams, and we just hit more shots. We won that game. But when we won that game, that gave us a lot of confidence. I mean, we knew we could compete at that top 5 level in the class, and we showed it right there. Moving forward, it just gave us huge confidence boost moving in the rest of the season.
Then I think you had your team, and is that the Kearney tournament that you were in, Kearney Invitational, and you played some schools that were a lot bigger than you are,
Yeah.
and certainly have some talent, and certainly did well in that tournament. I don't know if that's a turning point. Of course, finishing conference and doing well there. And coming in, right behind your dad's team once again, Mid Buchanan, and certainly I have to say this is a turning point, and I'm sure you're going to know I was coming is. At least coming from me, and that turnaround game that you had in the district championship game, where you took on the number. They had to be number 2 or 3 at that point, rated in the state, and beating Mid Buchanan in in the district championship game. And boy, that I was there for that. I helped broadcast with that with the North Platte radio setup that you have with Steve Boydston, and we're going to get him later, by the way, on to talk about his perspective of things. But I was able to help with him on that to try to get a video perspective of that game. And holy cow, you come back from, I believe it was 19 down at the half. And I was thinking, okay, they'll chip away. And I think I even said that. I think, well, we'll just maybe see them chip away and hopefully get back in this game. You didn't chip away. You got on board a rocket. And I think, I don't know, you took the lead toward the end of the third quarter down by 19. That had to have been a big moment, certainly in this year, to propel yourself.
I mean, yeah, that was probably, probably the best moment in a lot of ways. We're down 19 and Midbuck, tremendous team, obviously. But whenever they were hitting all sorts of shots in the first half. And I turned to our staff, which Coach Matt, Coach Geiger, and I said, if they keep hitting like this, we just can't, there's nothing we can do. They're more athletic than us. They're better in some areas. And I was like, there's no way that we're going to be able to come back to keep hitting these threes, keep hitting these shots. Cause we can't, we're not going to out athlete them back into the game. But I told our boys at halftime, I said, hey, yeah, we're down 19. I was like, but I've seen our offense before. It can get going. It can get hot. I said, just take it one possession at a time, make the plays, hit the shots that we need. If they keep shooting like that in the second half, you got to tip the cap and say great game because they were playing. And I thought both teams were playing tremendous. It was like I was saying earlier, I thought the first time we played, it was like C ability level for both teams. So the next time it was like B plus. And then that third time, that felt like both teams A game. It was a tremendous
Yeah.
game for both sides. I had a lot of neutral people that had no dog in the fight say that was one of the best high school games they'd seen, and they'd seen a lot of games. And they said that was one of the most exciting games. And like you said, we were down 19 and a half, and we erased that in like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
I think we hit an and 1 3, Jason an and 1 3. He hits the free throw. We get a steal. Brendan Matt's wide open at the top of the key. It's a shot I've seen him probably hit 700 times, it feels like, in practice and in games. And that shot went up, and I was like, that's going in. Goes in. My dad calls a timeout over there on the other side. And we were obviously excited, but I said, settle down. We're right back in this game. We were a halftime kind of, I wouldn't say like defeated, but definitely not 100% morale in the room. And after that timeout, I was like, we're right back in this. It's a 5-point game. That's anybody's game now. And usually the coaching cliche, the coaching thing is, hey, we're down double digits. Let's get it to single digits before the fourth quarter. But we did that in 4 minutes. So it just was surreal at that point. And at that point, it honestly settled me down a little bit. And I was just like, all right, now let's just take this possession by possession and let's grind it out. We got 12 minutes of basketball to play. And it's basically eaten up. And we definitely had all the momentum, and we kept making plays. And then finally, when we took the lead, it became two prized championship fighters going back and forth. I think one point, Coach Castor, who was PA for LeBlond, was just beside himself with the amount of shots that were being hit. And he goes, "It's raining threes in here," and it was. It was tremendous. That third quarter. If anybody watches that third quarter at all, really even the full game, like they played phenomenal in the first half, but that third and fourth quarter was some really, really high level basketball, especially at the class 2, class 3 level, I guess class 3 level, but it was some high level basketball and some fun basketball. And it was an awesome environment. There were tons of people there. And it was just a fun game, obviously. And obviously I'm saying that with us winning the game. I'm sure Midbuck has a little different feel, but even, I think that they would even agree it was a phenomenal game.
Well, certainly from a neutral perspective, from my end, it was one of the best. I'd say top 5 actual games that I've ever seen, and one of the most amazing comebacks I've ever seen, like we mentioned. And it told you the battle grit, I believe, that your team had. And they had some experiences in coming back in overtime, like the game we mentioned earlier in the season, this kind of thing. And certainly from that point, moving on, taking the district championship, and then you make a state run. I felt like was I didn't get the chance to games. Got my own responsibilities too through University of St. Mary, but I know that Nate certainly was able to cover those games. Him and Chris, and I tell you what, you had a pretty good run. South Harrison, they're taking them and then going on and beating Windsor, and advancing to the Final Four, and then boy, the bandwagon starts getting full, doesn't it? And certainly the community got behind it.
Yeah, I mean, the community support was insane. One of the big people behind it, Todd Cartwright, he's our booster club president. After we won our district title, he already had short orders ready to be made and sent out to people, say goodbye shirts, and get them ready for the Tuesday game. And then after we won against Windsor, he had Final Four shirts already designed, ready to roll. And just that whole trip, there was people just honestly just saying, "Hey, how can we help you? What can we do? What can we make? How can we make this more enjoyable for the boys?" And I mean, it was like I went as a player, but I didn't know all the ins and outs of the behind the scenes, and there's just so much that goes into it. And I was lucky that I had a couple. Well, I had a lot of people, but a couple main people want to highlight. Ryan Davis, obviously, tremendous athletic director. He handled so much of the logistics, and our community just stepped up in so many different ways. So many different businesses and people and families stepped up to just give the kids snacks or buy a meal or buy breakfast on the way out, help us with the charter bus. And I don't even want to start listing them because I'll forget somebody and I'll feel bad. But it was
Oh, I
so many
know.
people
Yeah.
that stepped up, and it was awesome. I mean, and then I got to just do what I like doing, and that's coach and hang out with the boys and just get to enjoy that. And I didn't have to worry about X, Y, Z. I just got to coach, prepare, and hang out with the guys and enjoy the trip. And that made it so much more enjoyable for me and my family, because it's just like I don't have to worry about all this other stuff. The community has done so much for us and for these boys and the program, and it was just tremendous to step back and just enjoy it and get to coach and hang out with those guys. So I appreciate everybody in the North Platte community and even people stepping outside of the community and helping us out. So it was an awesome experience.
The tradition in, the Platte County area, and I'm talking about North Platte, West Platte, it's a rivalry, that's for sure. Going back to the history when tobacco was raised by the two communities, a lot of the families were intertwined in helping and raise a tobacco crop and this kind of thing. So there's lots of support, I believe, on the West Platte side watching you go once the situation was over for West Platte this year, but certainly an amazing run. As far as now going down to Columbia and getting involved with that, I know in the semifinal he played a very good team. They're in the semifinal, and it was a tough road for you. But to me, what was impressive is how you handled yourself going into the third place game. And actually, that was a hard battle for you, and you were able to come back and win that one. And you had to feel good about, not many people can say, we didn't win the last. Excuse me, you didn't win the last basketball game of the year, but you did.
Right. Yeah, the Miller Career Academy, when I was watching film, and it's always tough when you start playing these teams from all over the state. You got no reference to like, okay, I see them play this team, but I don't know I don't know what I'm looking at. Like I don't know how good they are as far as the team that they're playing. And I knew some of the traditional powerhouses out of St. Louis. I mean, I saw Miller like up on Chaminade late in the third, and I'm like, ooh, that's not good for us. And I just watched more and more Miller. I watched. I knew we were going to be in for a battle. I knew our boys would step up and be ready to go, but I hadn't seen a team this year that we had played that shoots better than us. And Miller actually Miller throughout the year had shot better than us, and I knew that was our strength this year in a lot of ways was our 3-point shooting. And I was like, man, if they're shooting, they're going to be tough to guard because they're quick. We were bigger than them, but I knew that they could. Their defense was so tough, and they did such a good job over there. And their competition that they played, they didn't come into the Final Four with a great record, but it was deceiving because they played Class 5, Class 6 St. Louis schools all year. And when they got to the Final Four, I knew that they'd be a tough team, probably the top public school. And normally they're Class 4, I think, and they dropped down, so they're a big Class 3 school, and we were one of the smaller Class 3 schools. So I said, hey, this is a chance to. Our enrollment is tiny compared to some of these schools down here. So let's go play. Let's go compete. Let's go show our brand of basketball out on the biggest stage. And I thought our boys did a great job of that. And that third place game, Liberty Mountain View, a tremendous team. That was a tall team. That team it was weird. We played Miller, who was kind of more fast and small. And then the next game, the day after, was a matchup zone and size, and a 6'6", 7 kid in there that can block shots, and a couple quarterback athletes or football athletes out there. And I was like, man, this is a completely different game compared to the one we played yesterday. And that matchup zone threw us for fits for a while, and we didn't really get a chance to really practice against it. I threw, and that might have been a coaching error on my part at first, but I threw everything we had and all the prep into Miller. And I said, if we play for third, we're going to go out there and just
Uh,
go for it. Oh, we'll have a day to prep, but we'll have a little shoot around to prep. And so I had a scouting report ready for either team, Principia or Liberty Mountain View, but we didn't practice against that matchup zone, and I think that gave us fits for a half. And then we kind of switched up some stuff midway through the third, and it started really helping. And we went on another scoring explosion. It came back from I don't know, 12 or 14 point deficit. I don't know what it was at
yeah.
one point, but came back, and that was a tremendous fourth quarter. And it was a fun game, and I'm glad our seniors got to go out with a win. They've kind of been a big piece of this program, obviously building it up and competing every single year. And it was good to see those four seniors go out with a win.
And looking back on the season, I mean, you're able to overcome some challenges to get to where you formed as a team late in the season. As a coach, that's got to be very encouraging.
Yes, definitely. Our biggest, our first learning point, and this was a coaching error on my part. I put so much expectations on these guys from the beginning of this year. We did a lot of time talking about championship level teams and what it takes to win a district title. We did a lot of that talking in November, and I did a little daily like diary, little audible diary, and I was talking, and I was like, man, I'm too focused on. I'm telling these boys too much about winning a district title in February, and not enough about enjoying the year and getting better. And I remember talking about that on the way to work one day, and I kind of it shifted my mindset because after we lost to West Platte in the KCI tournament, I was kind of wow, I have these guys nowhere near prepared to win any of those things, but I was like, they don't need to be ready. Let's enjoy the ride. And it shifted my mindset, and I was a little less on edge about every single thing going wrong and more enjoying the process of getting better. And that helped me as a coach. And then it helped, I think, our team grow. We took that loss and we got a little bit better. And we said, hey, let's not worry about winning a district title in December. Let's get better. Let's get prepare every single day. Let's focus on the next opponent. Let's get ready to beat them, and then keep moving forward. And I thought we did that. We beat East Buck in that third place game, and then turn around and beat them again the next week at all place for a conference. And it was a different mindset by me too, because I felt the expectations. I knew that this group could do, and I told myself just enjoy it, relax a little bit. And part of that came from my
Just enjoy it.
girlfriend too. She goes, I was like, man, we lost that game. Like West Platte upset us, and she goes, hey, we got about 20 more games. And I'm like,
Yeah, that's right.
you're right. You're 100% right, and, she was my rock during the whole thing, and I love her to death, and she helped shift my mindset of, "We lost 1 game. A state championship wasn't handed out in December, so let's focus on getting better, and let's focus on enjoying these guys." So, that was my mindset shift, and then I didn't talk about a district championship after that game till, I mean, probably a week before districts. I think that's when I started talking about it again because it didn't matter, right? We had to get better. And so I think that helped us. A little bit of me shifting my mindset and shifting the team's mindset of let's get better. And I thought that shaped our season.
I got to bring this up too. We're in a relaxed conversation here, but and Braydn Kemper, to me, is one of the top coaches that I've ever seen. I mean, he's a very. I'm talking about your dad. And I know to compete against him, you got to have a different mindset. But certainly, he's got to be one of your mentors. And I know, just knowing him, that he was probably your biggest fan after he took a pretty tough loss against you. So, with him and this year, I want to try to get a hold of him after having a 500 wins. Whew. Yeah, uh, that's quite a testament to what he does. And certainly, I know you probably feel, it's great to have someone that you compete against. And certainly, I think as being one of your mentors, I mean, that just shows what kind of a situation you have. You got a guy to compete against, but he's also someone that probably supported you all the way as well.
Yeah, he was obviously, I modeled, I mean, almost everything I do after him. I mean, I learned a lot from him as a player. I got to coach alongside him for a couple years when I decided to stop playing basketball, which was huge for my growth as a coach. And he shaped so many things about like how that program was built. Was a lot of the same ways our program's built. Um, and I got to learn from him. He was number one as far as one of one as far as what I've learned from coaches, and then obviously I learned a good amount from Coach Brown over at St. Mary and Coach Brady Hoff. Both those two I think very highly of. And I love both those two. Those are
Hmm.
top notch dudes, and I've been happy to follow along both of them. Coach Brown got St. Mary's back at the top. My last couple years we were kind of trending towards the bottom, but he figured it out and got him right back up there, and I knew he would. I think Coach Brady off took over Avila, and he's got them trending in the right direction. So I mean, I got lucky to learn from a lot of really good coaches. Obviously, I think my dad's pretty dang good. I think he's pretty special and what he can do at the high school level, and just his overall impact that he has on so many different guys and all his different players, whether they played a lot or didn't play any or started 4 years, whatever it was, his heart that he puts into it. I mean, all the players, if you've played for him, you know that he'd run through a wall for you. I mean, he'd do anything for you, and I think that leads to the players want to do the same, and that's kinda how I wanted to build this program. I hope all former players of mine know that I would do just about anything for them, and, it kinda leads to that caring and kind of that love aspect, which it's one of our pillars of our team and, program, and I think you love somebody, you love something you're doing, you love the process of it, you're gonna be successful whether you win or lose a lot. If you love being with the people you're with, you enjoy that time, like, it's just gonna lead to good things, whether it's district championships and Final Fours or just really fun seasons. My first season here, was one of my favorite ones. I mean, it's hard to say, well, I've been coaching for 5 years, but, we only won 9 games, but I loved every single second of that, and obviously, I loved every single second of this season too. I'm not gonna rank my seasons as far as what I love and don't love, but you can love both ends of it, and you can enjoy both ends of it, and I think I got that from him because and one of the biggest things he told me is enjoy your wins because you don't know when they're going to stop. So, I mean, high school coaches, you don't get to go handpick your players. Well, a lot of us don't get to go handpick your players. Some do, but um, you got to enjoy the ones you have and just love on them because I mean they're there to love on and compete together and grow together, and that's what's been fun, especially with this group. These four seniors I've had them since freshman year, and I got to grow them and help grow them and mold them and enjoy the game together. And that's kind of what I wanted to do. As kind of my my goal as a coach is to grow them and allow them to enjoy the game and just allow them to enjoy competing for North Platte.
You bet. And as frosting on the cake, it's always good to see your players go on to play at the next level.
Yep.
And you're going to have that with Brandon Matt, I know, and some kids you competed against doing the same thing. I mean, it speaks a lot for the KCI and certainly what you've done in North Platte.
Oh, for sure. I'm excited for Brendan. I think he did such a good job of just I said this at his signing, squeezing everything he could out of his ability. I told the people that were at the signing, I was like, what you see him do is just such a small fraction of the time he has a ball in his hands. He is always at the gym. He could have shot 7 for 8 from three, and he'll be in the gym tomorrow on a Sunday for an hour and a half getting shots up. I mean, it's just the way he is. And I know Montez is going over to St. Mary, and I was very glad that someone gave him a chance because he's a tremendous player, and I hated coaching against him because he's so good. And then obviously we have other guys like Miller, but he's choosing football. But I mean, our conference is so tough. I mean, it's just a tough conference, and I mean, I'm excited for Brendan over at Grandview, and I think I know Coach Long over there. He's the assistant, but I'm excited to see what he does there at the next level. He's a tremendous shooter. I think he'll have an impact immediately right away
I do
on
too.
that aspect. And then he's got to get stronger and faster. But those are all things that all freshmen have to do going to the next level.
You bet. You bet. Well, I tell you what, Coach Braydn Kemper, I tell you what, it's been a pleasure to have him here today. And thanks for joining us here on MOKS Sports this week, Braydon. And I'm sure we'll be talking again. I'm sure we'll be talking again as we go into next year. We'll be doing this as a weekly measure here when the football and basketball season is going on, at least next year. So thanks for taking the time to talk to us. I know you're trying to wrap up a busy scholastic year, and certainly I do appreciate you taking time to be with us, and certainly we're looking forward to talking to Stephen Boyston here shortly to talk about his point of view. That ought to be interesting as well. But, Coach, thank you so much for being with us, Braydn, and we look forward to talking to you again.
But thank you for doing this, and thank you for all the coverage from since I was a high school athlete, and I know I was competing against West Platte, but to joining your side and going to St. Mary, thank you for all that, and it's always good to see you at the games and talk to you after. And just thank you for everything you've done, and thank you for following us on our state run. So thank you.
Well, between you and your athletic director, Ryan Davis, I mean, you got North Platte's got a couple good ones. Let me tell you that right now. So thank you again, Braydn. It's been a pleasure, and hey, we look forward to talking to you again later down the road.
Yep, you just let me know when you want to talk.
All right, sir, we'll do it.
Thank you.